Mummies, monsters, and men of science. Universal is branding their new monster franchise, Dark Universe. I'm Sasha Pearl-Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. It's alive! It's alive! Universal Studios has finally given us just a bit more to chew on regarding their brand new monster universe. First of all, it's now called Dark Universe. It will start with Tom Cruise and Sofia Boutella in The Mummy, out June 9th. There will be no Dark Universe film in 2018, but Valentine's Day 2019 will see their next film, The Bride of Frankenstein, romancing audiences with a story of, quote, a very modern woman in a very classic tale, according to Universal chairwoman Donna Langley. Well, here to talk with me about this are the Jekylls to my Hyde, or vice versa, Victor Torres and Markia McCarty. So this is happening, and I'm just going to go ahead and say no. Sorry. Woof. 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 Look,
tell us how you
I get
really
that
feel.
everything has to have IP. I get it.
Right.
I think this is actually a cool universe. I lived for Penny Dreadful. I love it. R.I.P. Penny Dreadful. Bring that back. This, first of all, Valentine's Day, you're giving me Bride of Frankenstein on Valentine's Day. I got thoughts, I got feelings, I think it's rude. Second of all, you're giving me Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man? Do not want. There's just a lot about this where I'm just like, oh man. And also they dropped this trailer. And the trailer is all of the old Universal movies with this like bizarre Imagine Dragons sort of soundtrack behind it. Yeah. Victor, what were your thoughts on that trailer?
I was really confused. When I first saw it, I thought they were like releasing like a DVD collection of all of the movies.
I would watch that DVD collection. I would buy that on Criterion.
Yeah, and it's called the Dark Universe. So which universe are we? I mean, is it like an anti-hero universe? Because I can't imagine it just being them being all full like villains, because it's PG-13. Like, it can't just be like a hard PG-13. Like, they almost say the F word. Like,
there's almost blood murder.
Yeah, like I'm really interested. I think I'm a little bit more curious than you are. I'm a little interested to see what direction they're going with it, specifically because, you know, this expanded universe, you know, is kind of a take from like the Marvel universe, like superhero movies, comic book movies. You know, it's such a huge thing right now. It makes sense for Universal to be like, well, we have a bunch of IPs that we could use for this. But it's also not the craziest thing in the world, because much like how comics have been around for ages, the Universal monster movies have been around since the 20s. And what I want to know is, what kind of take are we getting on this? Because the 20s and 30s of the Universal monster movies were more horror based. They're more horror centric and were more kind of standalone films about each of these characters. When we get to the 40s, it gets a little bit watered down, where Frankenstein just becomes kind of a dumb monster, even teams up with the Wolfman. And in the 50s, we get Abbott and Costello meeting Frankenstein's monster. So I'm really interested to see what direction they're going to go with, what era they're going to go with. It sounds like, honestly, they're just going to take each one of these characters and do kind of like a Suicide Squad-esque take on it. So I'm curious. I'm definitely curious to see. I think it's interesting to see an expanded universe that isn't solely superhero centric.
So you know what as you're talking about it, the thing that I'm positive and excited about is that maybe people will revisit the original movies.
That would be nice.
As part of it, which could be really cool. Is there anything in this that gets you particularly pumped and or anti-pumped, as I am, Markia? You are the deciding voice.
Yeah, okay. Well, when I first saw the trailer, it made me think of, you know, when you dig into your old Halloween costumes to then mash them together to come up with, because you wait at last minute.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Like, hey, that was kind of the feeling for me. It's like, oh, we have all of this. We'll just go ahead and put this out there now. I don't understand why they're starting with Bride of Frankenstein with it.
Well, they're technically starting with The Mummy.
Yeah,
Technically, The Mummy is the first one,
they're
and
doing
then
it with Tom
Bride of
Cruise.
Frankenstein will be a follow-up, and we do have some information about that, besides the fact that it comes out on Valentine's Day, 2019. It will be directed by Bill Condon. So when you say Dark Universe, I think the guy who directed Beauty and the Beast and Dreamgirls, right? Like, that's your first thought?
Well, Gods and Monsters, that was
that was a
Candyman
that was a
too.
really good. That was a drama.
Yeah, Farewell to the Flesh.
Yeah.
Which I will
He
say,
did-
I am
he
going
did
to go
direct
watch
that.
now.
Yeah.
But Phil Condon has made his living doing like Chicago, and like this is not
Dreamgirls.
really where he's at. But we know that that's going to happen, and we know that Javier Bardem is going to play Frankenstein's monster. So we got to find him a bride. Who is a good bride besides Penelope Cruz? Although maybe it will be Penelope Cruz because they do like working together. What do you think, Markia?
I actually, since you said Penelope Cruz, now she's like stuck in my head. I'm doing that. Well, for this, since they have so much star power with the rest of their dark universe, they could do an unknown. And since this isn't coming out until 2019, so we're looking at what, 2018 for shooting? Yeah, that gives enough time for a young hopeful to go ahead and by young, I want her to be age appropriate. I don't want it to be like an early 20s. I prefer to have a more mature actress to go up against Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, No Country for, what was it?
Old Men?
No Country for Old Men he was hard hitting in that. And I want somebody that can stand up to that.
I want to see the Frankenstein's monster with like that like wig from No Country, and he just carries around like a quarter.
But it's up really high on his head because, and there's the bolt sticking out of it. Somebody's going to meme that. I guarantee you the internet will make that a reality. And now I'm getting more excited. Victor, who do you want to see as the Bride of Frankenstein?
I had two contenders. One, Tilda Swinton, just because
yes.
I love Tilda Swinton.
Oh
I
my
think
God,
she has
yes.
kind of a hauntedness to her.
Yes.
And then Uma Thurman, the bride.
Yeah.
I
The
think
Bride
would
is
be
the
perfect.
Bride.
Yeah, I think she's.
I like both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would both be good. So the other people that we know are involved in this dark universe, we've got Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man, Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster, Russell Crowe is playing Dr. Henry Jekyll, whose pen I am using, apparently. And then we've got Sophia Boutella as the Mummy and Tom Cruise as Soldier of Fortune, Nick Morton. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you honestly think that they are not going to have Tom Cruise become the Mummy by the end of The Mummy? So
I'm
because
certain
you
he's
think
going to
Sophia
be.
Boutella is going to be the person that we're following? No way, no day. Tom Cruise is going to be the real Mummy from now on, is my guess.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
But with Dr. Jekyll,
I'm not in love with Russell Crowe anymore. After Les Miserables, I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to remember him from Gladiator, and that's about it.
He's got such a great voice. I mean, man, can he sing?
please tell the people what they need to Google on YouTube. Tell the people what you were showing Marquio before this.
Right now, go to YouTube and search Russell Crowe, The Weight of a Man. It will change your life and your perspective of Russell Crowe. Your respect for Russell Crowe will be raised.
Through the roof.
I'm curious about this cast. What I want to know more about Russell Crowe's Dr. Jekyll is he going to be like a CGI like transformation into Hyde, or is it just going to be he's Russell Crowe but crazy Russell Crowe? Because I think that'd be kind of an interesting take. I'm curious if Johnny Depp is going to be like Jack Sparrow,
I'm
Invisible
wondering
Man.
about the Invisible Man that they're going to use for this, because there have been a number of Invisible Men that we've had. I mean, is he going to just be like a real bad guy, part of this dark universe? Is he going to be like Kevin Bacon and Hollow Man bad? Or are we getting like a Chevy Chase from Invisible Man? I mean, what character are we getting with this? And hopefully it is a character. I don't enjoy Johnny Depp when he plays normal or when he plays straight. It kind of feels like with Clark Kent, where it's like, oh, this is how he views normal people. It seems stilted.
Right.
It doesn't seem natural to me. So I hope it's a character.
I wonder how much of him we will actually not see because it's Johnny Depp. Like, are we going to actually see Johnny Depp and then we'll see like a version of how other people see him as invisible? Because you cast Johnny Depp and you wrap him in bandages? It seems very odd. Yeah. Also, there is sort of a question of, is Dr. Jekyll kind of the Nick Fury of this universe? Is he bringing all of them together? Is Russell Crowe going to be the thing that crosses over in all of these universes? And then, of course, are we going to start seeing, like you said, these sort of 1940-esque crossovers where it's like the Mummy and the Bride of Frankenstein go find the creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yeah.
Is it going to be that?
I think it definitely sounds like it's going in that direction. I mean, maybe they'll take like a darker approach to it, but I don't think they would have this expanded universe if they weren't going to be doing crossovers or something a little bit more cartoony here and there, especially with Bill Condon directing. I think what's interesting too, essentially about the Dr. Jekyll thing, to kind of point on the Nick Fury, I think it's definitely like a Shield-esque, the Prodigium. organization that essentially like tracks down like evil monsters and uses other evil monsters to take them down. It reminds me of Hellboy.
I was gonna say, so it's like Suicide Squad meets Hellboy.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's what it reminds me of.
I like those movies. Those movies are fun. Okay, I'm going to run down some monsters, and if you guys think of anybody who you would like to see cast in them, or if this is a movie that excites you, say it. Dracula.
Well, you know, vampires. I'm too vampire saturated.
Robert Pattinson as Dracula. That's my.
There you go.
Wolfman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
I would actually.
Into it?
I would totally actually be okay with kind of scrapping the 2009 or 2010 Benicio del Toro reboot or movie, but I would see Benicio del Toro as the Wolfman again. I'd give him another shot.
You better bring Jack Nicholson in, and he better have a cameo. That's all I'm saying. Or Michelle Pfeiffer.
I love that.
But somebody better be in that. Creature from the Black Lagoon?
I would see it. I don't know who I would cast, because would it be like The Invisible Man where you're wrapping someone else up in kind of, or would it be like motion capture? Andy Serkis,
Or would it be
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
CGI?
There we go.
All right, party.
Yeah.
Then we know who we're getting for Invisible Man and Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein, we're going to have to find out. And then The Mummy, we're going to have to find out. Now, I know I've been negative today, guys. But that's because the dark universe brought it out of me, because it's so dark. But we want to know, how do you feel about this? Are there any casting choices you would like to see? And does the dark universe inspire trust and excitement in you? If so, let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. See you soon.